Good evening, great souls. Welcome. We'll begin our evening, our Kirtan together in just a minute or two. Meanwhile, let's meditate a little bit. Good evening, friends. Welcome to this evening. Thank you for being with us. Let's offer this prayer together. You can pray silently in your heart or out loud following my words. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, beloved friend, God, great masters of self-realization, Jesus Christ, Krishna Babaji, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yoganandaji, saints and sages of all religions, beloved Lord Shiva, humbly we bow at thy feet. Be with us this evening. Flow through our chanting, our song, our devotion. Flow through our hearts and minds, that we may realize your presence on the high mountain of inner stillness and realization. We are thine. Be thou eternally ours. Om. Peace. Amen. This evening we will share chants and stories and a few thoughts in honor of and in recognition of Lord Shiva and his presence in our lives, in our hearts. And I'll say a few words about Shiva, and I'll read a little piece that Swami Kriyananda wrote, which is an incredibly beautiful tribute to Shiva, and kind of gives not just an overview, but a feeling, a flavor, just a lovely characterization of Shiva's presence. Shiva is one of the three aspects of Om, and Om being creation, Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the creative element, Vishnu is the preserving element of creation, that which perpetuates creation, and Shiva is that which destroys ignorance and brings back oneness, brings us back to the state of realization. And so you can think of that as destroyer of our ignorance, remover of our ignorance. And so, yes, there is a certain degree of vigor involved in that sometimes. And the dance of Shiva can seem like a dance of destruction. But Shiva also brings the element of rebirth, the element of renewal, the element of uh, the fresh beginning after the disaster or the or the sort of reorganizing of whatever it is. And so I'll just read this. This is very sweet, and as I said, it gives a lovely flavor to the feeling of Lord Shiva. This is written by Swami Kriyananda. In wild and lonely places, you may find him even now. Shiva, the great god. Usually he is absorbed in deep meditation. And when we see him pictured here on either side of Yogananda's Murti in front of our altar, and I think you can see those pictures. If not, we can zoom in on them. Well, at first glance, he does look something like a beggar. His skin is covered with wood ash. His clothing is poor and skimpy. Beggar-like, too, he may carry a begging bowl. And sometimes also he goes from door to door begging alms. Yet there's something very different about him, not at all like a beggar. In fact, in a way, he seems like a king, for he gives you a feeling of enormous power. He doesn't seem rich like a king, certainly, and yet you can't imagine him needing anything. And that does make him rich in a way, richer than most millionaires who, with all their money, keep on wanting things they haven't got. Again, Shiva doesn't seem powerful in any ordinary sense. He lives alone. There isn't anyone around him for him to boss about. And yet, somehow you get the feeling that everyone he meets, even things like trees and birds and animals, draw their power from him, that they need him in order to exist at all. There's a strange look to him, yet he doesn't seem to care how he looks. His hair is thick and long and matted from never being brushed. He piles it up in a high coil on top of his head. At the top of this coil, too, is placed a new moon to show that Shiva's thoughts are always of high things. If you ever see him, you may find him dressed in only a leopard or tiger skin. One thing you'll know him by is his tall staff, which he always carries with him. This is no mere stick, but a trident, that is, a staff with 3 metal prongs at the top. Something like a tall fork, though I'm sure he never uses it to eat anything with. There's a hidden meaning to this trident. It shows that he's always centered in himself. You won't often find him in just any wild place. His home is the snowy peaks of the Himalayan mountains in the north of India, the highest mountains in the world. He seldom goes down to the towns of men, and when he does so, it's usually to make people long for his remote kingdom of silence and peace. The Himalayan mountain he lives on, you see, is really just a way of saying he lives in that part of you which is high above all your worries and distractions. Even the stories about Shiva are really only told to help us to understand things about our own higher self, that part of each of us which can reach up and maybe touch the hand of God. For Shiva's work on earth is to remind us that outside of God, nothing lasts, that life itself is short compared to eternity, even if we should live 100 years. So you see, that's why, although he dresses like a beggar, still he's so very rich. He seems poor because he never puts a tag on anything that says, "That's mine." But he's really very rich because he doesn't need anything. He never weeps for anything. He's always happy in himself. Anyone who can be like that can do anything he sets out to do in life. If Shiva doesn't come down to mix with people like us, it's because he waits instead until our minds are calm and our hearts can no longer be upset by anything. And then it is that he whispers to us, "Here I am, my friend, in your heart of hearts, in the still silence just behind your busy thoughts." So here's how we may think of Shiva. He's a silent yogi meditating inwardly. He smiles when people call him the terrible destroyer, because he knows that all he's ever tried to destroy is men's ignorance. In joy, sometimes, he may lift his hands high above his head and sing, "Boom, boom, hara, hara." This means, "Let me take you from your fears. Take from you your fears, your tears and littleness, and let me give you the mighty, thundering power of Om, my sacred word, in which resound all power, all the happiness in the universe." So this evening, as we chant together, let's honor that living presence of Shiva and feel the power of his presence. And there will be some little pauses in between the chants, as we often do, and a meditation or two as well, sprinkled in, as well as a number of amazing readings. And for some reason, that thing keeps going in and out of focus, and I don't know why. Just thinking about it very seriously. Take the moments between the chants to dive deeper into them, and the readings will give us more feeling, more flavor, more character. Shivaratri is a holiday in India that was celebrated yesterday night. It's an all-night festival, a kind of an amazing amalgamation of ceremony and chanting and other rituals, storytelling, deep meditation, and so forth. And so we're going to give you a little bit of a taste of that. You can think of this as a little appetizer plate this evening. And so we'll begin now with a chant together. And this is Om Namah Shivaya. I bow to Lord Shiva. And we'll sing a number of different iterations of that particular mantra, a couple of different, two or three different melodies.
Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya. Om Namah 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 Shivaya. Our picture keeps going in and out of focus. If that's happening on your end, maybe you could write it in the chat window so we can try to figure out what's going on. But I'm going to go ahead and read to you. In the deep forest and mountains, at any time, one may chance upon the great God, for such are his most favored haunts. Once seen, there is no mistaking him. Yet he has no look of being rich or powerful. His skin is covered with white wood ashes. His clothing is but the religious wanderer's yellow cloth. The coils of matted hair are piled high on the top of his head. In one hand he carries the begging bowl, and in the other his tall staff, crowned with the trident. And sometimes he goes from door to door at midday, asking for alms. High amongst the Himalayas tower the great snow mountains, and here, on the still cold heights, is Shiva throned. Silent, wrapped in silence, does he sit there, absorbed and lost in one eternal meditation. When the new moon shines over the mountain tops, standing above the brow of the great God, it appears to worshiping souls as if the light shone through instead of all around him. For Shiva is full of radiance and can cast no shadow. So we will sing now another of the Om Namah Shivaya chants. This one is by Haridas, who lives now in India, a long time Ananda member. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Wrapped thus in hushed intensity, Shiva sits amidst the snows of Mount Kailash, the home of Shiva, and there, with mind hidden deep under fold upon fold of thought, rests the great God. With each breath of his, worlds, it is said, are created and destroyed. Yet he has nothing of his own, for in all these that he has created, there is nothing, not kingship, not fatherhood, not wealth, not power, that could one moment tempt him. One desire, and one alone has he, to destroy the ignorance of souls like us, and to let the light come in. Once it is said his meditation grew so deep that when he awoke he was standing all alone, poised on the heart's center of all things, and the universe had vanished. Then, knowing that all darkness was dispelled, that nowhere more in all the worlds was there blindness or sin, he danced forward with upraised hands into the nothingness of that uttermost withdrawnness, singing in his joy, Vum, vum, hara, hara. And this dance of the great God is the Indian dance of death, and for its sake he is worshipped with the words, Vum Vum, Hara Hara. Jai Shiva Shankara Bhum Bhum Hara Hara. Jai Shiva Shankara Bhum Bhum Hara Hara. Hara 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 Jaya Shiva Shankara Hara Hara. Jaya Shiva Shankara Hara 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 Hara. Jaya Shiva Shankara Hara Hara. Jaya Shiva Shankara It is by the face of the great God that we may know him once and for all, beyond any possibility of doubt. One look is enough. Out of that radiance of knowledge, one glance from the pity and tenderness in his benign eyes, and never more are we able to forget that this whom we saw was Shiva himself. It is impossible to think of the great God as being angry. He whose form is like unto a silver mountain sees only two things, insight and lack of insight. Whatever be our sin or error, he longs only to reveal to us its cause, that we may not be left to wander in the dark. His is the infinite compassion, without one shadow or stain upon it. And we'll have a chant now. This is the last of the Om Namah Shivaya chants. We had to do all of our favorites tonight. And again, this just simply means I bow to the Lord Shiva. We need a couple of roadies tonight to do all this zooming and sound work. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha. Shivaya Namaha.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Om Namah Shivaya 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 Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya
In matters of the world, Shiva is but simple, asking almost nothing in worship, and strangely easy to mislead. The traditional offerings for Shiva are only bale leaves and water and a few grains of rice, and he will accept these in any form. The tears of the sorrowful, for instance, have often seemed to him like the pure water of an offering. Once he was guarding a royal camp at night when the enemy fell upon him and tried to kill him. But these wicked men were armed with sticks of bale wood. And as they beat him again and again with these sticks, he, smiling and taking the blows for worship, put out his hand and blessed them on their heads. And this chant, Dharmadas will explain. Jai Guru Omkara. Shiva is the guru of gurus. And so this chant means victory to the guru, the maker of Om. Omkara means the one who creates Om.
Guru Omkara,
Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara, Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara, Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara, Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara, Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara, Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva,
Hara 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 Mahadeva. Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara, Jai Guru Omkara, Jaya Jaya Satguru Omkara. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hara Hara Hara
Shiva keeps for himself only those who would otherwise wander unclaimed and masterless. He has but one servant, the devoted Nandi. He rides not on a horse or an elephant, but on a shabby old bull. Because the serpents were rejected by all other gods, Shiva allowed them to twine about his neck. And amongst human beings, all the crooked and hunchbacked, the lame and squint-eyed, he regards as his very own. For loneliness and deformity and poverty are passwords sufficient to the heart of the great God. And he who asks nothing from anyone, who bestows all and takes nothing in return, he, the Lord of the animals, who refuses none that come to him sincerely, to them he will give his very self, with all its sweetness and illumination, merely on the plea of our longing and our need. So now we'll sing, They Have Heard Thy Name. Do you have your...
Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
They have heard thy name, the blind, halt, and lame. They have heard thy name, the blind, halt, and lame. They have come to thy door, Lord, they have come to thy door. Give them an audience, Lord. They have heard thy name, the blind, halt, and lame. They have heard thy name, the blind, halt, and lame. Those who are in despair, wipe thou their tears. Those who are in despair, wipe thou their tears. They have come to thy door, Lord, they have come to thy door. Tonight give them an audience, Lord. They have heard thy name, the blind, halt, and lame. They have heard thy name, the blind, halt, and lame. Those who are drowned in sin, to whom will they go? Those who are drowned in sin, to whom will they go? They have no one, Lord, they have no one. Do not turn them away. They have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, they have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, they have come to thy door, Lord, they have come to thy door. Give them an audience, Lord, they have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, they have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, those who are in despair, wipe thou their tears. Those who are in despair, wipe thou their tears. They have come to thy door, Lord, they have come to thy door. Give them an audience, Lord, they have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, they have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, those who are drowned in sin, to whom will they go? Those who are drowned in sin, to whom will they go? They have no one, Lord, they have no one. Do not turn away. They have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, they have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, they have come to thy door. They have come to thy door. Give them an audience, Lord. They have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, they have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, they have come to thy door, Lord, they have come to thy door. Give them an audience, Lord, they have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame, they have heard thy name. The blind halt and lame.
I will have a short meditation now. Honey, go back. Sorry, we're not. Something got mixed up here, and we're not. That's part of the problem right there.
Through this, though?
Not really.
I will read that again. In the middle of Shiva's brow shines forth the great third eye of spiritual vision, with which he pierces to the heart of all hypocrisy and shams. And with the light that flashes from this eye, he can burn to ashes at a glance that which is untrue. For foolish as he may be in matters of the world, in spiritual things he cannot be deceived. In this aspect, therefore, he is known as Rudra, the terrible. And to him day after day men pray, saying, O thou, the sweetest of the sweet, and the most terrible of the terrible. Do you want to give a translation of this one?
Okay. So Shiva Shankara. Oh, sorry, gotta turn my mic on too. Shankara is a number of these. Let me get myself back into the view here.
Oh, sorry.
A number of these names of Shiva, and this is something to just know about the Indian tradition generally, is that deities and aspects of God often have hundreds and sometimes thousands of names. And you might think, what on earth are they driving at here? But what's happening is they're expressing shades of nuance because all these names have different meanings, and the meanings all express different aspects of the functionality of this God operates in this way in this situation. And so and all of these, they have stories around them. And you've heard Nirmala read a few. I mean, we could go deep into Shiva and Parvati, his wife, and then the dramas surrounding her becoming his wife, and then anyway, it goes on and on. I mean, it's incredibly nuanced, but all of these things have as their point helping us to understand how God operates. What sort of ways do these things happen, and why do they happen? And so, as for the names of God, they will often have a kind of positive meaning. I mean, there's nothing negative about God, but just as an example, Shankara has several meanings. So Shiva Shankara, doer of good or sort of giver of blessing, is one way of saying that, or one way of explaining the word Shankara. And the other is destroyer of doubt. So it kind of depends on how you divide the word, because it's potentially two different words put together. And so Shiva has both of those functions. Shiva Shankara Rudra. Nirmala just gave us the meaning of Rudra. It also means howler. And I don't exactly remember how howler ties in with the last story that you just read, but
Well, Rudra is the terrible aspect.
right.
So
So
yeah,
he's
literally that.
he's
But
howling. And
Maheshwara.
part of why he's terrible is that he's taking away our delusion, and sometimes we just bloody don't want him to. It's like we're pretty
We're
attached to
attached to
those
those.
blasted delusions. Okay, Maheshwara is great God, Maha is great, and Ishwara is God, and so sort of supreme. What else is there in this?
Sadashiva.
Sadashiva is omnipotent, subtle, luminous absolute. I mean, you
don't get that in English.
Yeah, I mean, where does this stuff come from? It's just incredibly nuanced. So anyway, and it's a lot more beautiful chant than the explanation. So anyway, we'll sing it.
And the other word that's you'll hear in there is Mahadeva, which just means the great God. Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva, Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva,
Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva,
Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shankara Rudra Maheshwara, Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shankara Rudra Maheshwara, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva, Shiva Shankara, Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva, Shiva Shankara, Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva, Shiva Shankara, Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Rudra Maheshwara, Shiva 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 Sadashiva, Hara 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 Mahadeva. Shiva 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 Sada Shiva. Hara 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 Mahadeva. Shiva 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 Sada Shiva. Hara 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 Mahadeva. Shiva 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 Sada Shiva. Hara 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 Mahadeva. Shiva 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 Sada Shiva. Hara 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 Mahadeva. Shiva Shankara. Shiva Shankara. Shiva Shankara Rudra Maheshwara. Shiva Shankara. Shiva Shankara. Shiva Shankara Rudra Maheshwara. Shiva Shankara. Shiva Shankara. Shiva Shankara Rudra Maheshwara. The other name for for Shiva that was in that chant is Hara. Hara is the name of Shiva. Two things there are which we see as God. One is knowledge, wisdom, insight, jnana, as it is called in India. And this carried to its utmost height is Shiva as Mahadeva. But some see God rather in power, energy, beauty, and the universe around us. Indeed, without both of these, either becomes unthinkable. Hence, Shiva has ever had a consort in Maha Shakti, the primal force. Amongst the pictures made and the tales told of her are those of Sati and Uma and Kali. She is Gauri, the golden one, the fair, the light of the sunrise shining on the mountain snows. And she dwells ever in Kailash, that mountain home, as the wife and devoted worshipper of Mahadeva, or spiritual insight, who goes among men by the name of Shiva, the great God. And so now we will sing a chant of Swamiji's to Kali. We often sing this as Om Guru, and we'll do both tonight, but this one is Om Kali.
Kali Om 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 Kali Kali Om 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 Kali Guru Om 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 Om Guru Om Guru Om Guru Kali Om Kali Om Kali Om Kali Om Kali Kali Om 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 Kali 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 Kali
Shiva is known as the guru of all gurus, which one way to sort of understand that would be like the trainer of all gurus. And this chant that we'll do now touches on that, and I'm going to give a translation that I hope will not turn into a lecture, but because there's a lot of words in this chant, but so one of these ones that we've never sort of translated, but because it's got all this nuance, it's sort of worth doing. So Jaya Guru Shiva Guru, Hare Guru Ram Ram, Ram, another name for God. Jagat means Jagat Guru, universal or whole world, so sort of guru of the whole world. Param, we know from Paramhansa Yogananda, supreme guru, Param Guru. Shyam, dark blue. It's also one of the names of Shiva's wife. So,
Dark blue because Shiva was stirring up the ocean to make nectar, and the Asuras, the evil demons, were trying to pour poison into it because it would destroy goodness. And Shiva took the poison and held it in his throat. And of course, it didn't hurt him at all, but it turned his throat blue. So that's why Shiva has a blue throat.
So Adi Guru means the first guru. I'm sort of whipping through the words here, which you'll hear in sequence when we chant it. Adi Guru, Advaita Guru, non-dual or no other reality. Ananda Guru is, of course, Guru of joy. Chit Guru, Chit Gana Guru, Chinmaya Guru Om, absolute knowledge, embodiment of knowledge or wisdom, as well as vanquisher of Maya. Chinmaya is the vanquisher of Maya. I think that's all of it.
That's it.
Okay.
But don't worry about the words. Just
enjoy the
bob.
Enjoy the ride.
Feeling of it.
Jaya Guru Shiva Guru Hari Guru Ram Jagat Guru Param Guru Sadguru Sham Jaya Guru Shiva. Are we in the right key?
Yeah.
Jaya Guru Shiva Guru Hari Guru Ram Jagat Guru Param Guru Sadguru Sham Adi Guru Advaita Guru Ananda Guru Chit Guru Chitana Guru Chinmaya Guru Adi Guru Advaita Guru Ananda Guru Chit Guru Chitana Guru Chinmaya Guru Jaya Guru Shiva Guru Hari Guru Ram Jagat Guru Param Guru Sadguru Sham Jaya Guru Shiva Guru Hari Guru Ram Jagat Guru Param Guru Sadguru Sham Jadi Guru Advaita Guru Ananda Guru Chit Guru Chitana Guru Chinmaya Guru
Adi Guru, Advaita Guru, Ananda Guru, Chit Guru, Chitana Guru, Chinmaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Shiva, Hari Guru, Jaya Guru, Shiva, Hari Guru, Jaya
I'll close with Master's chant, no birth, no death, no caste have I. Father, mother have I none. I am he, I am he. Blessed Spirit, I am he. No birth, no death, no caste have I.
I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am He, blessed Spirit, I am He. Mind, intellect, of the mind, intellect, of the time of heaven, letters and lines, time of heaven, letters and lines. I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He. Beyond our fancy formless and beyond our fancy formless and free from dreams of all earthly life, free from dreams of all earthly life. I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in my joy. Bondage I fear not, I'm free in my joy. Free, oh free in thy bliss. Free, oh free in thy bliss. I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He. Oh, I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He. I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He. No burden, no burden, nor task, no task, I am loved, I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He, I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am He, I am blessed Spirit, I am.
Let's invoke this power of Shiva and send out through the vibration of Om his blessing throughout the world, throughout the universe.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Jai Shiva.
God bless you all. Jai Guru, Jai Shiva.